Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's easy to sum it up. We're talking about practice.
Because it's about as casual as it gets. What's the problem now?
That's a clown question, bro.
I think we understand the beating at least.
World champions!
Start playing with some jam in here. Let's go.
Philadelphia, looking as only you can look. Woo!
Here we go.
Click on Zombie Apocalypse.
It's a play fake. Minshew taking a deep shot for Goddard. He's open. He's got it. And he's got a touchdown. Dallas Goddard, what a drive. A 36-yard score. And Minshew all fired up with his first touchdown pass as an Eagle.
Go ahead. Start talking.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the J&P Sports Podcast. This is week 25. Got a lot to talk about today, but I'm not happy with other than the Eagles right now, which is usually the opposite. John, how are you doing?
Yeah. Like I said last week, the better football team won today. Just last week it was flipped. Yeah.
Right, well,
major disappointment with the Union. I said all week that I think that they should have postponed the game at least a few days, or at least to see if they could get out of the COVID protocols with 6 of their 11 starters out. But, stinks. Life goes on. They had a chance to win, and they messed it up in the last 2 minutes.
I just feel so bad because, they worked so hard to get to where they are, and to have COVID take out half their team right at, a very important moment. It just sucks. But I mean, that team still fought with a lot of heart, and they proved a lot to me today that they have really good depth. A lot of the players on that field were not used to playing 90 minutes. And the fact that it took all the way until the 88th minute for New York to get the go-ahead goal, I'm giving this team a lot of credit. They had a lot of heart, they had a lot of hope, and they had a lot of fire under them. And Matt Freese, oh my gosh, dude, he had some nasty saves. Curtin got out coached at the end. I
mean, the other New York City, or whatever their team is, they got 2 New York teams. I can't keep track. They all 3 of their subs did have a big impact. So
yes, I
mean, you can kind of see. I said it at about the 80th minute to myself. The announcers, they were talking about, if you're Jim Curtin, do you sub? Do you let your players roll? You have players that aren't used to playing 90 minutes. I think in that scenario, you have to roll with your best players, whether that's them gassed or whether that's them, coming off the bench for a late game spark. It's the same thing with the Sixers in Game 7. I didn't like how Doc Rivers used 10 guys in Game 7. I think that he should use 7, maybe 8 if somebody got in foul trouble. You need your best players on the floor, on the field, on the pitch at all times, especially when it's win or go home.
Yeah, and also in this current situation, a lot of these players haven't played in a while, so you don't really know who your best players are at that moment too. When it comes to a COVID protocol knocking out half your team, it's very difficult to make some decisions. And yes and no with this subbing. Like you want to. I can't really fault Curtin here at all, to be honest with you, because like I said, COVID really like screwed the team over. Um, it's not really an easy call whether or not of when to make the subs because a lot of the team was still young. I mean, yeah, you could have made the subs earlier, but then you still would have had 8 people that were kind of, well, not 8, more like 4 or 5 people that were still really gassed by the end of that time, and then you also would have had players that were like a little more tired instead of where they were in their current condition, because that go-ahead goal was so late in the game that it like all the subs were already used at that point.
It
So
didn't matter if you brought in somebody at that point anyway.
Yeah. Like there wasn't really too much you could do. It was just an unlucky goal for the Union that put New York ahead and ended up winning the game. Like, it reminded me of the end of Miracle when the Russian coach didn't know what to do when they were losing the USA. Yeah, I mean, like New York had control for the majority of that game. They really did. Like they were pushing the Union like no tomorrow, which they should have. That was going to run a young team down. It was going to run their energy down. It was going to run a team that was broke down. And New York did what they were supposed to do, and they ended up winning because of it. Like the Union fought very hard. They really did. You know, the own goal was lucky for us. I thought Shablilko had that. I called you shouting Shablilko, and then the replay came and it turned to be an own goal. Like, but they pushed very hard for a very young team. It showed me a lot that I am very excited to see where this team goes in the near future with the depth that they have. And I think after a few years, once their young players get like more conditioned and more well fit for the playoffs, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, and I think a big point in that game was right after you score that goal, you let a goal of your own 90 seconds later. I mean, if you can hold them to, scoring 15 minutes later, then you're kind of just pushing in, you're kind of just passing around for extra time, and you're not really trying to score at that point.
Yeah.
And then you can make your subs because you're playing for extra time. I mean, Chris, I said this in the beginning. I understand that they have the championship game set with TVs, rights and everything. But push back to Monday, Tuesday, whoever wins this game, whoever would have won the game would have had to just suck it up and, play on a short week, which, is fine. I just think that if you're the MLS, you want to have your best players out there at all times. I mean, it was entertaining. I mean, it was something that the MLS, on a 30,000, view looking down, says, oh, it was a great game, great atmosphere, great everything. But, it just from the start, it just felt like, there wasn't much of a chance if New York got, a rhythm.
Yeah. Like this was just such a tough blow. I seriously give Matt Freese a lot of credit. He made some outstanding saves. Like he really kept the Union in that game for a long time, all the way until the very end, where both of the goals that were scored against him, he couldn't do anything. There wasn't anything you could do. The shots were so close range, so powerful. Like he would have had to reacted to the exact spot that they were shooting before they shot it for him to even have a chance.
On that first one, he saved the first initial attempt. So he was already out of position from that. I mean, it's not out of position, but he was already recovering from his first and second saves from that sequence.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I can't blame Freese at all. Like, he did what he needed to do, and unfortunately, the young team in front of him couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
I mean, and again, at the same time, I'm still not blaming the Union team. I'm not blaming Coach Curtin. Like, just everything that happened to them within this past week just really worn them down. And yes, it's the playoffs. You got to do what you can with what you have. But with half of their starting team out, I don't think that they were ready for this game. That's just what it comes down to. Their team was too young, not enough experience in the playoffs, not enough experience in the regular season either to really have like a strong game. But they still had a strong game.
Yeah.
Like, so that, like, I'm even though they lost, I'm very proud of how the Union did this season. They started off rough. They came back and ended up being second in their division. And then they just marched through the playoffs in extra time, shootouts, doing what they needed to. And then COVID came in, just screwed them. And I feel so bad for them. But I just think this is going to light a fire under them for next season. And they're just going to come out even stronger. And I think they're going to make a huge push next season.
Yeah. I think that we're going to have to go back and see who's leaving, who's not. I don't really know how soccer free agency or transfers work, but we'll have to find out who stays and, try and see who they can add, if they can add anything, who's going to move up from the training squad up to the big league club. And, just kind of take a few weeks off and just kind of let it sink in.
Yeah. So for next week or 2 weeks from now, I'll take a look at their contracts and see who's like going to be a free agent, who's not, who needs to be re-signed type thing. And I can get more information to you then. Right now, I was just kind of focused on the football games in general.
Football or football?
Football. I was focused on the football games. Now, I know we said we were going to go to the Eagles next, but do you want to stick with the sad momentum for right now and bring it up at the end? And go to the Flyers next?
Fine.
Or do you want to go Eagles, bring it up a little bit, then go back down with the Flyers?
Just
Sixers.
Just give me a second here.
Take the goal 5. She'll take the goal 5.
All right. We're going to the Flyers.
Current status of the team at the moment. Just walk on by. We'll get there. we need to be in our depressing state real quick.
Yeah, Jonathan, be back here in about
2 seconds.
2
seconds.
Like 5-10 minutes, and we'll get to the football games.
This I don't even think switching lines up can work anymore. I just don't think
they have no fire under them. I don't understand what team goes through a 7-game losing streak and doesn't have any fire to win the next game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of blaming the coach for trying to fire people up. I mean, I know it's his responsibility, but it's also on the players to get fired up themselves. I mean, I don't think that is a big part of it. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with coaching, and I think a lot of it has to do with players. At some point, we have to realize that this core group, this core older group, is not it anymore. It was in the early 2010s, like 2010 to like 2012, but like JVR, it's just a bad contract at this point. I'm at the point even where you think about trading Giroux. I mean, you just kind of see what his worth is around the league.
He did waive his no trade clause.
I think I
you
think,
go.
yeah, I think we have the right guy in place to fix it. I think Chuck Fletcher is that guy because, before COVID hit, he did push all the right buttons in free agency and trades. I think he did make the right moves this offseason, getting, Rasmus Ristolainen, Ryan Ellis,
Atkinson.
Atkinson, claiming Zach McEwen, who's been our best player, arguably, this past week. He's now on the third line. I think he's the right guy. I don't know if we have the right coach, and I don't think we have the right players at the moment.
Yeah, I know I said AV's not going anywhere, but at this point, he's on very thin ice, and I would not be surprised if he goes.
Before Christmas. I mean, it could happen around Christmas time.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Get the beep out. Like, you're done.
You're done.
I think they do have a good group of guys. They're missing something, but nobody knows what it is. Like, I think Wade Allison coming back will help when he eventually comes back. They do need a couple younger guys out there that can handle the minutes, because I'm starting to think the older guys that we picked up aren't being able to anymore. I mean, Braun's still doing a really good job out there.
Provorov even hasn't played well.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what's up with him right now either. Like,
I mean, he had 1 year, and now it's kind of just one and done.
But I think the confidence that this
there
team
hasn't been
has right now
sustained
is
success
so low.
by anybody in the last few years. You can't name one guy who's played well for the last 3 years on this team. And that's Carter Hart included. I know. Whoa.
Coots?
All right, fine. You got me.
I was going to say, Coots I can put up there. Coots is played.
He was also hurt. He was also hurt a lot last year.
Yeah.
So
this year he's not doing as well as I would hope.
Go ahead. Name another person. Coots.
I got no one else. I mean, I would still like to say Provorov. Gritty, yes, Gritty.
We're lucky we have Gritty.
Yeah.
If we didn't have Gritty, what the heck would we be even buying tickets for at this point?
I also like that profile picture, Drew. Here we go. They are currently losing 5-0 to the Lightning. It's the end of the second. They're down 5-0. That's something I've noticed too. That everybody's noticed. Second period is not their period.
Or the first period, or the third period, or overtime, or the shootout.
I mean, the second period is like their absolute worst. Third period, they seem to be all right in, because they really only let up like one goal at a time at this point.
You want to see how bad things are right now? Yeah, you do.
I'm waiting for it. What's this guy? Yeah. Oh my god.
I think that was Kevin Hayes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And I understand Hayes just came back from an injury, but he's not doing well either.
But it takes time though. I agree that he hasn't played well, but it doesn't help what he has around him right now, except for his one line mate. You know whose one line mate is?
TK.
Silky hands, Morgan Frost.
Wow. Dude, Morgan Frost has been looking really confident out there. He's been one of the better players.
I know. The last week you had McEwen, Frost, and pretty sure the line stops there.
Yeah. Like, their top guys just aren't doing it for them anymore, and they're relying on their bottom guys, which you can't do. And right now, JVR is just eating a contract up. We'll see how Hayes goes, but even last year, I thought Hayes was just eating up a contract.
No, Kevin Hayes played well last year.
to each their own. But we'll see what he does this year. We definitely got to move some guys though. Definitely got to move some guys. Never should have brought JVR back.
No, you can't say that though.
I mean,
at the time, it was what thought of was a good move, and any time with a big contract with a middle-aged guy, this is always a possibility, and it's 99% time the case. You really are signing him up for the first 3 or 4 years max out of the 7-year contract.
Yeah, and then just hoping to move him by that 5th or 6th year. I feel
right.
Like. Tampa Bay is a very good hockey team. They're the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Yes, they are a very good hockey team. But I mean, didn't they beat? I'm pretty sure the Flyers beat them earlier this year, though.
No, they've lost in the shootout and they've lost in regulation, and they're about to lose in regulation again.
Okay.
They've beaten the Oilers, they've beaten the Capitals, they've beaten the Flames, and they've beaten the Hurricanes all on the road. All very good teams.
Yeah, Oilers and Capitals, they're top of the conferences right now, right?
Yes.
Canes are second, I believe, right behind Washington. Or right behind the Capitals. And then who was the last one you said? Flames.
Yeah.
Flames are, I believe, they're second in their division too. Like those teams combined have a total of like maybe 25 losses, maybe. Probably if that, because I think Oilers only have 5. I think Capitals have like 6. Flames probably have the most out of all 4 of those teams right now. And I think they're at like 8.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they're good teams. Like the Flyers just aren't finding ways to win, and they need to move some things around, and it probably is going to start with AV.
Yeah, I mean, it has to
just
start
like
with the
usual.
coach.
Yeah,
it has to start with the coach.
Other than that, I got no words for him.
I got nothing.
I got nothing for him. Like it's
bring back my boy Jonathan Bender. Let's get some better hopes in this podcast.
Here, I'll bring him back for you. There we go.
Watch some good football games today, like the Lions beat the Vikings.
Oh, they got their first win.
Helping out the Eagles. And then have this.
Lions got their first win.
And then you have this guy.
3rd down and 4. Minshew. Goddard's wide open, and Goddard has another touchdown. Now the Jets just haven't covered Dallas Goedert so far in this game, and he has made them pay.
Yes, Dallas Goedert has been awesome.
No, it's the guy throwing him the ball was awesome. All right. All right. Pat.
I mean, Dallas Goedert got me like 30 points for fantasy, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Pat, what were your impressions of the Eagles game today?
In the first half, their defense was atrocious, but they really stepped it up in the second. Like they didn't let up a single point all the second half. And Gardner Minshew was insane that first half too. He only had 1 incomplete pass where he just kind of like threw it at the ground. I didn't understand why he did that. I knew
it's because the screen pass wasn't open. Because his only option on that screen pass is there, because if he throws it to like a different receiver, the linemen are down more than 1 yard down past the line of scrimmage, so it's illegal man downfield. So his only play is to that running back or tight end that's in the screen, and if not, he just throws it at the ankles. So he doesn't get sacked, because the linemen are just like chipping and then moving to the side and letting the defensive lineman come towards the quarterback. So he's got 2 seconds to get rid of the ball. Either way.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's not even a real income. It's not like he was errant or there was a drop. So
yeah.
Steelers Ravens. I mean, we were watching Union game, but Big Ben possibly on his way out in Pittsburgh. Finally plays somewhat decently well. You know who's got another quarterback controversy? The Pittsburgh Steelers. But also your Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles do know to you. Yeah.
Minshew.
So here we go again. I mean, I still think they're going to stick with Hurts.
Am I 1 year ago today? I feel like I'm doing this again with Carson and Jalen.
No, I mean, I definitely know for a fact Jalen was butthurt that he didn't start today. But
I mean, he's starting once they come back after the bye week. Nick Sirianni already said it. Now
I think they were just being extra cautious with him. They didn't want him to strain anything more.
I think today's game says more about Nick Sirianni than it does Jalen Hurts, and it's that Nick Sirianni early on in the year, he was 70% pass and 30% and like 2% run. The rest of it was Jalen Hurts trying to figure out what the heck to do with the ball. And then, he realizes, oh, stupid, we got a great offensive line. And so let's just, we got a 6'8" rugby Australian guy, just run behind him. Now, then they figure out Jalen Hurts, get him involved with, designed runs and, quarterback draws and stuff like that. But now he's back. He's learned all of this to where now all of this information that he's gathered over the last whatever games it is. And he now has a quarterback that is, way better arm talent than Jalen Hurts and can be pretty accurate. It was going to be interesting before coming into today to, see if he got back to being pass happy, and he did not. He was pretty equal, and then it favored a little bit more towards the run because they were up in the second half. So, but in the first half, they were pretty much hand in hand. You didn't know what was coming, and I think that's a really good sign going forward that that Nick Sirianni can kind of coach multiple different ways, I should say.
Yeah, sorry, I was responding to Sean in the Discord, which, guys, if you haven't joined the Discord yet, we're starting to get some people in there now. So we're able to start having some more conversations about football, hockey. I don't think we've had any soccer in there yet, but
any sport you want to talk about, any game, like Jonathan, you want to talk about Ravens Steelers game? We got some people in there that'll want to talk to you. I will certainly talk about Steelers Ravens because I want to make a comparison between the Ravens and the Eagles. I have said for a long time that Lamar Jackson, I don't think can win a Super Bowl just by the sheer fact that he can't throw the ball whenever he wants. He can run the ball whenever he wants, but he can't throw the ball. He can't make a precise throw down the field. And I'm not saying 40 yards. I'm saying 15 to 20 yards down the field in a tight window to move the chains. I just think in the playoffs, the teams are going to condense down. It's the same way that I feel about Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons by himself will not win a championship. But if you pair Ben Simmons with somebody else, I think that there's, really good chance. It's just a style of, it's just like Steph Curry could win a championship all on his own just because he can shoot the lights out. But Ben Simmons, if you don't put the ball in the basket, how the heck are you gonna win by himself? Now he's lucky he's got shooters around him, and then you have the dominant player Joel Embiid. But back to Jalen Hurts, I don't think. I said this earlier in the year that I don't think he's the guy, but I think he deserves another year. After seeing today, I'm not sure he deserves another year, but that's not because of him. It's because I think it's how this offense looked with an accurate passer.
Yeah, how many total yards did Minshew have today?
Like 253.
Yeah.
It's not really the yards, it's the accuracy that he did it at. The simple check down plays that need to be made were there. The plays the touchdowns to Dallas Goedert. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts can't make those throws, but like
they finally relied on my boy Goddard.
They're more 50-50. You don't know if it's going to be a good pass or a bad pass. And
you're talking about with Hurts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with Minshew today, like even though he didn't score touchdowns in the second half, he gave them opportunities to kick the field goal, which I know it's unfair to say because Jalen Hurts does not have a turnover problem, minus the Giants game, but he made the right plays at the right time and got this team in a winning position. They punted one time today, and that was in the fourth quarter with like 7 minutes left. I know it's the Jets. I know. But I'm not saying Minshew is the guy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying his type, who can, roll out when the pocket crashes not every once in a while, but, 5 times a game, 5 to 7 times a game, he can roll out. He's the type of quarterback that I want at the quarterback position for my team, if that makes sense. Now,
so you don't want him for the next however many years, but you want someone who's a lot like him that maybe he can kind of like show the ropes for a year.
Not really
two.
Show the ropes because that. No. Okay. This town would go nuts if Gardner Minshew was the starting quarterback. Like if Jalen Hurts wasn't here, this town would go nuts over Gardner Minshew. Just because of his attitude, his I don't know, his just whole character is just very, very, very much like everything that this city would like.
Yeah, that video you showed, he was pumped.
With his dad?
No, the one where he went to the fans.
Well, yeah, here. This is with his dad.
I hear it, but you're not showing it.
I know. I gotta. Yeah, this is with his dad after the game.
That probably feels so good for him.
I just like how, like, there was a time in the third quarter where they went for it on fourth down. It was like 4th and 1, and they line up for a QB sneak, and he calls the play, but Sirianni called the timeout, but he didn't know that. He didn't hear it. He called hike, like dove, rolled over, and like got up and went like this. And I was like 8 yards down the field with nobody around him. And I was just like, I like a quarterback with a little flair. I love Jalen. I like, his everything, but I like a guy with a little flair, a little bit of, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I'm just gonna down the field. I wish I had the video. But
and something else, his stash.
Okay.
His stash is a little bit better than his game today.
Okay, little backstory. Last night when I found out he was starting, I shaved everything down so I had the stash. I played Xbox last night with you with the stash. And I was gonna do it. I was gonna have it the whole day, have it for the show. But
And then you looked at it again. You're like,
I woke
no.
up this morning and I was just like, that is not it. And then he also's got it like down to here too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I was gonna get to that comment. I don't need a big arm. Everybody wants this big arm, kind of quarterback. A big arm, you don't need to do what you need to do to win games in the NFL. You don't need to push it down 50 yards down the field. You do that once a game, if that. They didn't even take a shot today. They didn't even take a chance deep. The farthest ball he probably threw was 40 yards. He kind of did it with ease.
I don't even think he actually threw it that far either. I think it was mostly.
Yeah, it's the intermediate stuff. It's just got a tight spiral. It's got this zip to it that he put it this way. He's got the finesse throws that Jalen Hurts does not. Put it this way. As an infielder in baseball, you field it, you throw it, right? Now, if you're a shortstop, if you're a shortstop, and the ball comes to you, you're throwing it at the second, you're going to get down and kind of sidearm him. It's a different slot. Now take a golfer. Chip shot. You need to have so many different shots in your bag to be able to play certain types of shots. Jalen Hurts, I saw a couple weeks ago, he has this problem where he floats everything. Nothing's really like a quick dart when it needs to be. It's kind of a floating thing. Yeah. Gardner Minshew has so many different slots. You see Patrick Mahomes throwing it like he's like down here. You need to have different throws in your arsenal to get your playmakers the ball and kind of saw it a little bit today.
Yeah, something else that I liked was Minshew actually threw to the open guys.
Like Dallas Goedert.
Yeah. Goddard was open all first half, and he just kept throwing it to him, and it worked. Imagine that. There were a couple times last game where Hurts kept throwing it to Rager, who was covered, and yet Devontae Smith was wide open on the other side of the field.
Yeah, we're not going to get into Jalen Rager.
Here, John, don't worry, I got it.
Oh, shoot.
No, did you see what I did with my arms?
No.
Little T-Rex arms.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Jalen Rager can't even. He almost lost the Eagles a possession by not catching the ball in the end zone. He just it didn't make the end zone. Oh no. The Jets had that 80-yard return and then scored. That kickoff after, he did the same thing. He was on the 5 and just kind of watched it go over his head. The ball landed 2 or 3 yards in the end zone. I was like, ugh, that was close. And then what do you know? Later in the game, it actually did come up short, and it spun back to in play where he picked it up and moved it 4 yards before he was quickly tackled.
Yeah. Yeah, Rager doesn't make the best decisions. Here we go. Chris and Drew have a couple things about Minshew here. So Minshew's more accurate, but Hurts and Minshew have the same arm strength. And also Minshew reads the defense better.
Yeah, he does probably read the defense better.
But at the same
that probably
time,
comes out of experience.
Minshew's been in the league longer.
Yeah. Well, they're two different types of quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts needs to be able to run the ball to be successful. Gardner Minshew.
He can run the ball, but he doesn't need it.
It's not even he needs to run the ball. It's handing it off to somebody else. That's where Miles Sanders came up big today.
6-0 Lightning, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to bring that one up.
Hey, Hedman got another assist. That helps me in my fantasy.
Yeah, it's. I personally, I think you have to go back to Jalen Hurts after the bye week, but you're trying to win. You're trying to go to a playoffs. Jalen Hurts throws 2 picks in the first half. Maybe there's a short leash.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the worst idea.
Yeah,
No.
I mean,
Now if you're 2-7, put Jalen Hurts in. But now that you're a half game out of the wild card spot and the team that's ahead of you play 2 times in the next 3 weeks after the bye
football
week.
team.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's a short leash, and you bring them in as like a second half reliever.
Yeah, after the podcast, respond to Sean in the Discord, by the way.
Yeah, well, he's got 2 weeks to figure out his team.
Yeah, and I didn't even know who Mac Hollins was until today after I saw him score.
Mac Hollins was the Eagles' 4th or 5th round pick a couple years ago, and he's a wide receiver. Came out of UNC, and he was like, everybody was like, why isn't Mac Hollins seeing the field? He's a big target guy. He was actually on that Super Bowl team. He made one play the entire year. It was a pretty big one against the Washington football team Monday night. I'll pull up the video in a second. But he said in like an interview or a press conference, he was like, "Yeah, I like playing special teams more than I do receiver." And as a fan, you're like, "What? Somebody just say that?" So then like we released him and he went to Miami. Pat, your camera cut out a little bit. There we go. And then he's been with Miami ever since.
Yeah, I missed like 50 seconds of that because my entire internet.
Let me show you who Mac Hollins is.
Okay.
You might actually know this play because it was a pretty famous play during the Super Bowl year. He basically said that he likes playing special teams over receiver.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, talk out while I find this video.
I mean, I was happy with how the defense rebounded today. Like that, it looked like it was just going to be a high-scoring game for both teams. Because like the Jets were steamrolling the Eagles defense and the Eagles were steamrolling the Jets defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
But then the Eagles tightened up and were able to take complete control of the game, which was nice. That was good.
Yeah, I just don't like the passive style that Jonathan Gannon has. I personally would move on from him after this year and get an experienced guy. And just try and get somebody who likes to be aggressive because, in my opinion, you should spend at least 2 of your first 3 first-round picks. By the way, it's official now, Carson Wentz. Thank you for toughing it out through your wife's pregnancy. Now gets to send a first-round pick over here. So here's Mac Hollins in 2017, Monday Night Football game. Redskins, Eagles.
Other times, he has really earned the respect of his teammates with that toughness. Going for a deep ball, has a man behind the defense. It's caught for a touchdown. The rookie, Mac Hollins, with his first career touchdown, 64 yards.
Tough. The man just gets smashed, and he gets up the next play and throws a bomb for a touchdown. He did it against the Chargers. He did it against the Panthers. And he does it again in the Washington Redskins on a beautiful double move against DJ Swearinger.
But also at the same time, Carson Wentz threw like a freaking dime on him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Now, a quarterback like Carson Wentz is a guy who I want. Guy who can throw it. He had some accuracy issues, but he could fit it into a tight window like we saw on, the throw to Miles Sanders in the back of the end zone against the Washington Redskins. Just boom. When he had to. Yeah. So
I like making that noise.
The bye week could not come soon enough. Jason Kelsey walked out of the stadium in a boot. Hopefully in 2 weeks, his streak can still stay alive for most consecutive starts. Jalen Hurts,
just start him in the boot and don't let him play the rest of the game.
Yeah,
keep his streak going.
Hopefully Jalen Hurts saw from a different point of view how, hey, this throw needs to go there like Gardner just did. This throw here, they took this away. All right, it needs to go over here. Just something, little things like that.
Yeah, the only thing with Hurts is, though, a lot of times if he doesn't have a pass within the first second, he runs out of the pocket and goes to one side.
Well, he's done a better job at that, though. Over the season, he steps up with two hands on the ball. He's done a really good job of that lately, minus the Giants game.
Yeah, it was
abysmal. And just think, if they win that game last week, 7-7 going into the bye week, in the wild card spot.
Atkinson scored.
What do they want? A cookie? Like, it's 6-1.
I want a cookie.
Brutal.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if they have like a huge quarterback controversy coming up this offseason again.
Oh, it's here. It's not going away. But
all right, we'll see. Sixers?
Yes, sir.
What do you got for me for the Sixers? I haven't really been paying attention to them.
Well, of course not. The Sixers, they played the Celtics. Of course, Al Horford had to just play like Al Horford did pre-Sixers era. He locked down Tobias Harris on the final possession for them to take the lead. Part of me wants to be patient, but part of me says no, because they did miss so much time, but also like you need to get back into the top tier of the Eastern Conference. And you have,
thanks, Ben.
well, the Portland Trailblazers fired their GM. So, that could mean
put him on the court.
Well, it could mean that the new GM wants to put his players on the floor, and his players that he didn't draft are Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Chauncey Billups, their head coach, said after a game a couple nights ago, said, and I'm paraphrasing that, it makes it hard when your bench players have to motivate your starters. So there's already a little ruffling of the feathers in that organization with it, their new head coach and their players. So who knows? And we're coming up. December 15th is the day where players who signed in free agency are now eligible to be traded. So you should be hearing things ramp up around Christmas, right after the new year. So we're coming up on that time point.
All right. What's the Sixers' current record?
They, my friends, are way to lead me into a dead end.
That's my job.
They are 12-11.
Okay, so they're still in a winning percentage.
Yeah. But let's just think of it.
They could be better.
Yeah, here. Let me put this on.
Hey, this time I got the yawn.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Sixers. Sorry.
Let's think of it this way. The Nets aren't going anywhere. The Bulls aren't going anywhere. The Bucks aren't going anywhere. You haven't really played the Wizards yet, so you don't really know what to expect from them. So that's a team that you could be better than. The Miami Heat, you haven't played them yet. We don't know if you're better than them. The Celtics aren't good. You should be better than them, but you just lost. I mean, you didn't have Tobias Harris in that. I don't think you had Tobias Harris in that game. But either way, you should have won that game. The Cavs, you should beat them, and the Hornets, you should beat them. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible teams that you could be better than. But on the flip side, you're only 4 games back of the 1 seed, and that's with, you know, $100 million plus in your salary cap being gone for a month. So this is not over. You know, there's a lot of jockeying for position. You know, you got to go all the way down towards, you know, the Pacers to where they're 8 games out of the first place in the East. I mean, there's still a lot of basketball left to be played.
Yeah.
4 seed, you know, beginning of the year, I would not have been happy with that. I would like a top 3 seed, but knowing the circumstances now, top four seed would be relatively good.
I mean, I'm okay with just making it into the playoffs. And then
that's not what we do here. We set high expectations.
Well, I'd be happy with just making it into the playoffs and then going just marching throughout the playoffs with a healthy team.
That is true.
Because they can do that.
But you need the home court advantage, though. The top 4 seeds get home court in the first round. You need that.
Maybe.
I mean, it didn't help last year, but
yeah, like
whatever.
they lost
whatever
3 of 4 in the second round.
Whatever.
You know, great home court advantage right there.
Oh, the fans were there. It's the actual execution and
I said home
staff.
court advantage.
Yeah, nobody wants to come in here.
Obviously the
I don't like.
Dude, why am I drawing a blank on that team? That
the Hawks.
Thank you.
Who the Sixers just beat, by the way, in Atlanta. I mean, we did that last year
by like 30 points.
I don't like how Joel Embiid, there's some points during the game where Joel Embiid just doesn't touch the ball on consecutive possessions, like 3 or 4 in a row. And I'm just like, he's only on the court for, I wouldn't say a limited amount of time, but when he's on the floor, you want to maximize him. And him not touching the ball 3 or 4 times in a row, consecutive possessions, I just don't see how that can be a recipe for success. Especially like
if the other players make the shots, yeah, go ahead. But
I mean, I get that like fast breaks happen. I mean, I don't really count fast breaks as a like possession in this sense. But like when they get set up in the half court, like they're just running around and he doesn't even touch the ball. I mean, he can take the game over at any point. And we saw even when he came back from COVID, he had 40 points. Now he wasn't good, but it was a not good 40-point game. I mean, I don't know what you want him to do.
Have a good 60-point game, duh.
Well, he's winded. He's winded. I don't know what to tell you. He's a big fella.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good to get the top 4 seed, and it'd be good to stay healthy the rest of this year, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
COVID can be a real bleep.
Yeah.
As it screwed over the Sixers earlier this season already, and it just screwed over the Union. Now, let's see what happens.
Wish I could use that as an excuse for the Flyers, but here we are.
I mean, as long as nobody gets hospitalized, if it'll light a fire under their butts, yeah.
No. I mean, there's not much on the Sixers. I mean, they just really need to get back in the swing of things. They got a big road trip coming up that started in Boston. They went to Atlanta.
It looked like you were going to finish your thought there, but I guess you're not.
Yeah, well, then they go on to Charlotte. They play them on Wednesday. Or actually, they play Charlotte on Monday tomorrow, and then they go play them on Wednesday. Then they play home against Utah, and then they play the Warriors at home and the Grizzlies. So you need to, you could beat the Hornets probably twice. The Jazz, you'll at least, if we remember the Utah Jazz game when we went to Utah, we didn't have Joel Embiid. That was the first game back for Tobias Harris, I believe. So that'll be a much better game. And then you get to play the Warriors, which you didn't have any of your top players. So this should be another really good game. And, the Grizzlies with John Morant, hopefully, bearing he can come back from injury. So you definitely got some winnable games that you need to come out 3 of 5, 4 of 5.
Yeah. All right. They need to keep that winning record alive, because right now with the Union getting knocked out today, they're our last hope.
Yeah. Just get kicked in the stones one more time.
Why not?
Unbelievable.
All right. What do you have for the Phillies?
So we will not be talking about the Phillies till probably April, because the baseball lockout officially happened last Thursday, which basically means, for the people who do not know, basically means that the teams and players cannot have any contact whatsoever. Players cannot use the team's facilities whatsoever, until the Major League Baseball and the Players Association come to an agreement on their next CBA,
I
paperwork.
This just seemed to have happened not too long ago too, didn't
it? Last year here's the thing. They had to do it for the COVID year, because they had to know, hey, if we're playing 60 games, what's the percentage of our salary from that year are we going to get?
Fair enough. Okay.
So they had to do it for the COVID year, and then they implemented the DH, universal DH, the runner on second base in extra innings, stuff like that, because they knew that they would have to talk about it and figure it out this year, going into this year.
Obviously, it didn't matter.
Well, it was always going to go to this, but they at least know, hey, the universal DH is, some people liked it. Some people like the runner on second base in the extra innings. We at least know that, people like this change. Just stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And, they signed a reliever from the Dodgers who is pretty nasty when he's healthy. And the last few years, the Phillies have picked players who don't get hurt, but then get hurt while they're on the Phillies. So I like this flipped approach, how you go for the injured guys and then hopefully they'll not get injured.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All
right.
So basically, we're not talking about the Phillies till April.
All right. So we're not talking about the Phillies until April. Union season doesn't really start back up until March. I think their first preseason game's like February 27th or something.
Yeah.
So basically for the next time being, or for the time being, it'll be Flyers, hopefully positive. Eagles, hopefully positive. Lightning just scored again, 7-1.
Awesome.
And then Sixers. Hopefully they keep their winning record. And we'll go from there.
Gardner Minshew. Go Birds.
Hopefully the Phillies can add some more talent after a lockout. They're going to need to, because they didn't do anything yet.
Well, here's the other thing. The players that they've been linked to players that they've been linked to are still out on the market. Like Kyle Schwarber is still out on the market. Nick Castellanos still out on the market. There's different things, nuances to it. Like if you sign Nick Castellanos, you have to give up a second-round pick, and he's going to want a long-term deal. If you sign Kyle Schwarber, who plays the same position, you don't have to give up a second-round pick, and he will be on a lesser contract. Like Nick Castellanos is going to want 5-6 years. Kyle Schwarber's only, he could take 2 or 3. And hopefully you have somebody younger that kind of takes that spot. But I would say majority of their needs and wants are still out there, which is a good sign.
Okay.
So
hopefully
there is hope that they would go out and, get their guy afterwards. We didn't expect a lot would happen beforehand. It was kind of a like a crazy thing that things did happen, like Max Scherzer to the Mets and Starling Marte to the Mets. Like it was kind of weird that so many different players signed before the CBA. I'm not really sure exactly why, but the Phillies players are still there, out for the taking.
Good. It's what we need. We need some talent in this city. The Union had it, and then COVID took it out for a game and screwed us. Damn, that's all I got. Just damn.
Oh, no, I messed that up. That's all right. I forgot that I went to the wrong window.
No, I'm always dead serious all the time. I would never, ever joke, especially in a game. No, I mean, I like to have fun, man, especially when you're winning like we are, running the ball. It's fun to have fun out there. No, I'm
He doesn't.
What
Okay.
a great guy.
Okay.
You know who he reminds me of before we log off? You know who he reminds me of?
Well, we still have one segment to do after this, but
yes. He reminds me of
Tom Cruise.
This guy, the turtle.
Why?
Just because of how it's gnarly, dude. Like just like how he acts and his whole thing just reminds me of that.
Gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
Finn. Noggin. Dude.
Exactly. Well, let's
love
get
that
into
too.
it. Let's get into it.
Let's. Welcome to Pat's Shats. You read that correctly, and you heard it correctly. Basically, especially this week, as Philadelphia sports fans, we are disappointed in our team. We usually have something to judge about them, and usually it's negative. So in this segment, we like to basically go after any other team around the world and have a good laugh. And feel a little better about our team. And this week, I have one clip for you. Sadly, I couldn't find the first one, but we are going to... Why is this not popping up? Go away. Go away. There we go. This week, we are going to make fun of...
Way to be
We're
ready.
going to make fun of a team that we already played. Can you see that?
Yes.
So sadly, I couldn't find the third PK that Nashville took, but just goes to show they missed the net. And here's another one.
Shank.
Oh, I love it. I freaking love it. And you ready for this? Can you see my arrow?
Yes.
Watch Zimmerman when he gets to about right here. Just watch his face. Just watch him when he gets right here. Ready? Right here. Look at him. He's blaming the dot.
Yeah, the grass
He's blaming
didn't do anything.
the dot.
You didn't have a bad lie. This isn't golf. You did not have a bad lie.
Hold on.
That grass is perfect.
Look at that. Look at him. He's blaming the dot. Look at the dot. Like, yeah, there are a couple divots, but the other players had to deal with that too.
You get to place the ball, don't you?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. You get to create your own lie.
Yeah, he gets to place his ball down on the dot, whatever way he wants. And he's 12 yards from the net. You're a pro for how... You worked all this way to be a pro. You've played soccer for how long? And you can't hit the net from 12 yards away.
When it really counts.
And for that, frickin' Brick Wall Blake. Brick Wall Blake, yeah. Yeah. Like, I really wish I could have found that first miss too.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching that. You, Zach, and I were freaking out when that happened.
Yeah. That was nuts. If only.
And I blame you for this week because you didn't come home to watch it with us.
Yeah, like I'm going over to the Union facility and sneezing on all of them.
Yes, it's your fault. It is definitely your fault. Like, you didn't come back for the semifinal game. Like,
well,
we lost because of it.
If it makes you feel better, I was already fast forwarding to next week during the game, being like, "Hey, it's on Saturday. I'll be home Saturday. I'd be able to watch it."
I mean, they were looking good. They were looking really good until COVID hit. But like, come on, Zimmerman. Hey, should we watch it one more time just to feel a little bit better? We're gonna watch it one more time because we can. We are gonna watch it one more time.
Make sure you add the sound.
Can you not hear the sound?
Mm-mm. You didn't add it. Whatever. It's fine.
What do you mean? Wait, hold on. How do I add it?
Okay, you're gonna have to get rid of don't share your screen. Guys, we try and go over this with them. Share your screen, and then at the bottom left it says share audio.
No, it doesn't.
It should.
Okay, I guess I gotta share the whole screen then.
Do the tab.
I tried doing that.
Oh, well, it works for me.
All right, here. Can you see it again?
Yes.
Let's try this.
Got it.
Okay.
Zimmerman, right footed, and he's put it wide! And the Union are through!
What a shank.
Little did they know that would be their last game that they would play.
This year.
Yes.
All right, John, you got anything else to add?
Not really. Just go Birds. Go Birds.
All right, well, if that's the case, thank you all for coming out to week 25. Drew, Chris, and Jonathan.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys chiming in. We love hearing from you. So
join that Discord channel. It's on our Twitter. Should be pinned.
Yes.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a follow on Twitter. All at JP Sports Podcast.
Yes, I was going to say YouTube and Twitter are JP Sports Podcast. Discord, we have a link set up on our Twitter page. So if you go look on the Twitter page, you can join our Discord. We'll talk sports anytime. We just made this a little while ago, so we don't have too many members, but we do have a few in there, and there have been conversations of sports talks. So we are getting there, and it would be nice to have a few more people in there so we could have big conversations and get like polls going in Discord, which would be cool. So, so until next week, stay safe out there. Don't let COVID bite you. And peace out.
Go Birds.